Hi, I'm Pat Barnard, Group Managing Editor for TMCnet, coming to you live from IT Expo West in Los Angeles. And joining me is Brian Metherell, Vice President and General Manager of Telecommunications Systems Division for Toshiba. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Pat. Great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what's new at Toshiba in terms of products and recent announcements.
Okay. I'll break it down to two areas. One, mobility, and the other is our unified communications.
Okay.
So in the unified communications area, we've launched a new Strata messaging product, which is a unified collaborations product, absolutely terrific, and it's aimed at the low end, so we've had a lot of success at it.
Okay.
We've also brought out a Strata meeting product, which is also working UC in the low end of the other portfolio with web collaborations. It's been very successful. The other area that we've had some great success is we've, in this past 6 months, certified the top 3 device manufacturers for our U-Mobility products. So we've got iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry all certified, so that's really helped fill out our wireless and unified mobility product.
Okay, great. Now, we all know that Toshiba has a special place in the industry, and tell me a little bit about how these new products and these new initiatives are sort of helping you hold on to that position, that unique position that you guys have in the industry.
Sure. Toshiba's always had this reputation of high quality. For decades, we were known as a really high quality SMB key system provider, frankly.
Right.
We have emerged in the last 10 years as a very strong UC provider, IP solutions for telecommunications, and we've grown up market. We're still very focused on SMB, but we have a large national account and enterprise business that's really growing, and our UC applications and our IP solutions have really helped us go reach that marketplace and had some very successful growth there.
Okay, great. Now, you guys put out a lot of announcements about interoperability agreements that you have worked out, and it seems like you guys at this point are pretty much, you interoperate with basically every single type of SIP trunking provider out there.
Right.
Obviously, this is a key part of your strategy. I was just wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Well, we launched in 2007 our SIP trunk product, and we've had just tremendous growth. In fact, the last 6 months were 50% higher than the prior 6 months just on SIP trunking. So if we look at 2 years, it's 1,800% growth. So of course we've invested in it. We've had to do a lot with in terms of interoperability because every carrier seems to have a slightly different flavor of SIP. And unfortunately, it's a little bit like the old ISDN days.
Right.
So we are very focused. One of the things we do is we have our dealers sponsor in a provider. So if our dealers are collaborating with some local SIP provider, then they say, help us out, get these guys certified, and we go after it, and we've got a very streamlined way to help enable SIP trunk providers get us the information, and we do the interoperability testing. We're over 30 SIP trunk carriers now, and growing. We got 6 more about to be certified here before the end of next month, actually.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, and I guess getting these announcements out there in a loud and sort of big way is important. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are perfectly satisfied with the provider that they're currently working with, but they may want to switch out their phone system,
Right.
and so if they're thinking about moving to the Strata, CIX, line, then obviously it's a great thing to be able to say, hey, we interoperate with the service that you're currently using, right?
Exactly. It really helps make the customer feel much happier, much more secure that he's going to have a system that works. A lot of customers don't fully understand SIP, but they understand the cost savings that it's going to drive.
Right.
And then, of course, we bring our IP and unified communications solution, so there's all kinds of other benefits that are derived. And with a SIP trunk SIP trunk installation, typically that's going to drive some cost savings on top of all the other efficiencies and benefits of the IP solution.
Right.
So it's a great win-win for the customer.
Right, sure. And also your stuff is very quick and easy to deploy. Out of the box. So
it goes in fast.
Obviously, that's got to be a big part of it as well.
Yes,
so.
It is. Yeah.
Now, you're going to be speaking at an event here at IT Expo, is that right?
That's correct. I'm speaking at a SIP Forum event, and in fact, I spoke just earlier also this morning at another SIP Forum. I think I mentioned this, it was 12:15 to 1 o'clock. I thought no one would be there. Everybody would be at lunch. It was standing room only. There's a lot of interest in SIP, and there's a lot of growth in SIP. So it was very encouraging to see, and by the way, the show is good. Great this year. I'm shocked at how much, for the first day, traffic you've got going. So it's really good.
Yeah, that's great. And that right there just speaks to the growth and adoption of and interest in SIP trunking and SIP services. I mean, obviously everybody's thinking mainly in terms of cost savings, but obviously unified communications and all the different ways it can boost employee productivity through collaboration and advanced feature sets, things like presence and whatnot. Obviously, there's a lot to benefit from there, and so that's, I think, part of the reason why companies are looking at it so closely, and adoption rates are starting to go up.
Right.
What's your take on, in terms of penetration right now, in terms of SIP trunking? I mean, where would you sort of put it?
It's still emerging. It's still, which is great because it means there's a lot of upside still. So it's not ubiquitously deployed at all. You still see some of our legacy carriers dragging their feet and don't want to be very proactive about SIP adoption because it's a capital investment for them, and then the revenue goes down because it's more efficient, right? So I think where we're really getting a lot of success is the emerging carriers wanting to partner with dealers. You know, we've got nearly 500 dealers across the U.S., so they're partnering up and they're driving the message home to the customers that they're going after, and that's really helping to drive it. And now also the legacy carriers are saying they've got to get on board. They've got to be more proactive about penetrating their own installed base with SIP. So it's really, we're just still at that early stage, but just a ton of momentum and growth is starting to happen there.
Right, yeah. You guys are also special in terms of your partners, your reseller network. I mean, obviously that's a big part of what you guys do. You have tremendous success there.
Right. And
that program continues to grow and do very well for you guys. Speak a little bit about that.
So our dealer network is over 35 years old that we've worked on. We have never competed against our dealers, so I think we get a disproportionately high loyalty level from them because we don't ever take business from them. We don't go in direct. We just partner with them. So that's been tremendous. We also train them how to do it. We see our dealer network really absolutely core to our value. So we invest in it just like investing in R&D. It's exactly the same perspective as far as we're concerned. So we have training tools. We help them even through this recent recession where some of them got into some serious financial issues, as a lot of small business in America did. In some cases, it's just so their bank went bankrupt. Well, instead of punishing them and trying to aggressively collect, we ended up stepping in, providing some funding to get through, in some cases, 6 months, a year period, and really closely partner. So those are things that I think are unique to Toshiba and how we value that dealer network, and it's really helped us grow because we get great. Often we'll get a reference from a dealer about another dealer, never in the same town, but we and that helps us grow the business, and so it really helps out for everybody.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Good. Yeah. Brian, thank you very much for your time today. I've been talking with Brian Metherell, Vice President and General Manager of Telecommunications Systems Division for Toshiba. Brian, thanks again.
Thank you very much, Pat.